Welcome into Falcons Today. I am Will Scott. We're going to be talking about some Cordarrelle Patterson replacements on today's show because he is going to miss at least the next 4 games. And this is really a brutal loss for an Atlanta team that's been playing some good football. 2 straight wins. They're tied for first in the division heading into that huge game against the Bucs on Sunday, but they're going to be without one of the best running backs in the entire NFC. So he heads to the IR with a knee injury. He had a minor procedure Monday morning. So I guess if you want to look at this in a positive lens, he's only going to miss it, probably the next 4 games. So this is a short-term IR, hopefully just a short-term injury for Cordarrelle, and they get him back sooner rather than later. He's been having a phenomenal season, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns on 58 carries, so he's been a lot of fun to watch. He's taken pressure off of Marcus Mariota in the run game, and he's a big reason the Falcons are in a decent spot here after the first 4 games. So losing him is tough. However, there are some solid replacements we're going to talk about on today's show. The first being Tyler Allgeier, who is the rookie running back out of BYU. I'm a big fan of this guy. I remember covering this guy throughout the draft process and saying whoever gets him is going to be a steal. And it does appear at this point that he does have the potential to be a steal. Here is what he did against Cleveland. 10 carries, 84 yards, 8.4 yards per carry, rattled off a 42-yard run as well, so played a big impact in that win against the Browns. I really like him. I think that he's a solid replacement here. You don't necessarily have to go out and trade for someone or sign someone because of how good Allgeier is. I'm really high on him, higher than probably most people are outside of Atlanta. He's very underrated, very solid. If you're a fantasy football guy and you had Cordarrelle, then maybe Tyler is the guy for you to pick up here because I think he's really solid. And I think we're going to learn a lot about him on Sunday against Tampa Bay. I'll say that. Guys, we beat the Browns easily with likes last week. Let's do the same this week against the Buccaneers. Hit the like button, go down, hit the thumbs up icon, like the video. We're trying to break the likes record this week on the Falcons channel. Caleb Huntley is another in-house option for this football team. Someone we're going to talk about here on today's show. I don't think he's going to get nearly as many carries as Allgeier, but he has had 10 carries this season, 56 yards and a touchdown. Another solid option. And the Falcons do have a solid running back room, and they have some depth at this position, which makes it more manageable in terms of replacing Cordarrelle. Here is what Huntley did against the Browns. 10 carries, 56 yards, a touchdown, average 5.6 yards per carry. So both Allgeier and Huntley got 10 carries, which is interesting. I know I just said a second ago that I don't think Huntley is going to get the same number of carries as Allgeier, but they did get the same number against the Browns. Allgeier had 34 more yards, but still Huntley is the third-string running back, arguably, to come in and put up 56 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Really solid showing from Huntley and Allgeier on Sunday against Cleveland in that big win. Moving on to some out-of-town replacements. Malcolm Brown, you can poach him off the Rams practice squad. We've seen some guys get poached, including Latavius Murray. He got poached off the Saints practice squad. He is Denver-bound now. So now, maybe Malcolm Brown is a guy you look at here. Played for the Dolphins last season. 5 touchdowns. The best season of his career is probably in 2020 in L.A. 5 touchdowns, 419 yards. Last season with the Dolphins, played a minimal role, 125 yards, 1 touchdown for the Fins last season. But he's definitely one of the better practice squad running backs out there. And you can poach some of these practice squad guys. He's certainly a name to monitor. Do you think the Falcons need to add a running back? Type Y for yes or type N for no. Down in the comment section, go down, chime in. Let me know what you think. I would say yes, but it doesn't have to be necessarily a big name. We're going to get into a pretty big name here in a second. But first, I want to tell you about this great deal we're giving you through BetUS, because if you go to chatsports.com/BetFalcons, you can get a 125% deposit bonus. You will get one if you use that promo code. Falcons125, got to put at least $100 in to get that 125% deposit bonus. But that means if you put $100 in, you will get $125 additional cash to bet with. I did it right before football season. It's been an insanely clutch deal for me. You do the same. Chatsports.com/BetFalcons. Now, if you want to trade for somebody here, D'Ernest Johnson is somebody that you can look at because he is right now kind of buried on the Browns running back depth chart behind Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. But I'm a really big fan of Johnson. He's probably the best RB3 in the entire league. 554 yards, 3 touchdowns last season. Here's what he's done as a starter. So started 3 games for Cleveland last season against Denver, against New England, and against Cincinnati. 22 carries against Denver, 146 yards. 19 carries against New England, 99 yards. 25 carries against Cincinnati, 123 yards. Listen when I say he has no business being an RB3. I mean, this is a RB1, RB2 at least type of guy. And throughout the season, I've always said, if a big name goes down, I expect whoever that team is that loses their starting running back to call Cleveland about D'Ernest Johnson. Maybe Atlanta will be that team after the Cordarrelle Patterson injury. Now, if Patterson had more of a long-term injury, if he's going to miss a lot of time, then I think Johnson's a no-brainer. But let's say he's just going to miss, again, best-case scenario, 4 weeks. I think I have confidence in the current Falcons running back room to hold it down until Cordarrelle gets back. David Johnson is another name to look at here. Played for the Texans the last couple of seasons. Is still looking for a new home. So he's someone to look at here as a potential option. I'm going to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan. I think he's a little bit washed, which would explain why he does not currently have a team. The Saints brought him in for a workout in recent weeks. Apparently that workout didn't go great because they did not sign him. But here is what he's done throughout his career. So 2018 with Arizona, he was fantastic. 2019 just didn't play a whole lot. He's had some injury concerns as well. 2020 had an okay season as the starting running back in Houston, 6 touchdowns. He, of course, was involved in the DeAndre Hopkins trade. I can tell you that that's going to be his legacy for Houston Texans fans. So, he's a decent option here in terms of free agents. Want to get into some injury news because these 5 players are all eligible to return from the short-term IR. Deion Jones, that'd be huge for a Falcons defense that's been improving. Isaiah Oliver, Marlon Davidson, Jalen Mayfield, John Fitzpatrick as well. So those 5 guys are eligible to return now that we're 4 weeks into the season. Are they going to return? That's the question. I'm sure we'll hear some updates from head coach Arthur Smith in the coming days about that leading up to that huge game on Sunday against the Bucs. Guys, go down, subscribe to Falcons Today because we've added a lot of subs recently, and the reason we've done that is because the Falcons keep winning. So don't jinx it. Go down, subscribe to the channel if you want this win streak to continue for the Atlanta Falcons.